What generation are you?
Generation Z.
Gen Z, I think. That's us, right?
I belong to Gen Z.
I'm a part Gen Z.
I think I'm Gen Z.
I'm a Gen Z, right in the middle.
Gen Z.
What do you value in a workplace setting?
I value a good workplace community.
Probably respect and boundaries.
Like camaraderie, like an environment that you feel comfortable in.
I think it's important that you enjoy your time, even if you're working, and having good people around really helps with that, and it makes it feel less like work.
I value good communication in a workplace setting.
A good work-life balance, being able to separate myself from my work and not being feel like my work is my whole life.
I value cooperation.
I really like when things are collaborative.
Environment that supports creativity, an environment that is a little more flexible.
Hear from other people, hear other people's opinions, because I do feel like everyone has something really special to bring to the table.
When the people I'm working with are respectful and kind of empathetic and considerate of my time and the effort that I'm putting in.
What's your average daily screen time?
Realistically,
It's bad.
Can I check?
Not only from social media, but also a lot of homework is online. So I'd probably say like 5 or 6 hours a day.
5 hours and 30 minutes.
About 4 hours.
7 hours maybe.
Daily average 7 hours and 1 minute. 13% down from last week.
7.5 hours. 6 hours.
I'm gonna go with a solid 3.5 hours a day, which that's really bad.
What stereotypes about your generation do other generations seem to hold?
I'd say entitlement.
That we're always on our phones.
Wanting a lot of things without putting it in work.
I think they think we're woke.
And that we don't have any other personalities besides things that we see on social media.
They perceive us as maybe too social justice.
They definitely think we're lazy, addicted to technology.
Woke, lazy.
There's some people that would say, yes, that we're always on our phones, but then there's others that say that Gen Z is the generation that's going to change the world.
Expectations being too high, trying to make the world a place that it isn't.
There's a stereotype of carelessness. I also think cringe is a big one. There's some cringe Gen Zers, but I feel like cringe in a cool way. But millennials are the worst and the most cringe ever, so.
What do you wish you could explain to other generations in general to dispel some of these beliefs?
I feel just because we do our thing, things our own way, doesn't necessarily mean we're doing them wrong or trying to take shortcuts. We're just doing them in the way we were taught, the way that we think is most efficient.
I think I wish that I could say that Gen Z really is about self-expression. I think that's one of the big things.
I would say inflation and back when they're in our position, the dollar had more value.
That there's this overarching theme of self-expression, whether that be through clothes, through social media, the way that we talk, the jokes we tell.
Inflation rose, salaries didn't keep up with that, so things do cost more now. And you can't afford the same salary.
And that we're still young and we're bright and that we have a lot of dreams of hoping to make the world a better place.
So I'd say to other generations, even though we might be cringy sometimes, I think that it's for the greater good.
We really want to make an impact on the world and really make it a better place. I genuinely believe that.
Our sort of special snowflake mindset is really just trying to create a healthier society and environment for us all to belong in. And at the end of the day, we all just want what's best for all of us.
How much does when you're born shape who you are?
I do think it has a pretty big effect.
Factors like who your parents are aren't necessarily dependent on when you were born.
Oh, I definitely think it's impacted us, just definitely having technology at our disposal. When a lot of this political stuff has happened, it's definitely helped us get news on time, so we're more politically aware of events that are happening.
One of many variables that shape how people act.
That technology has helped bring us closer together, has allowed us to communicate and create a bigger voice as one together.
Gen Z has been affected in a lot of different ways because of technology, good and bad.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I think that our generation has been negatively affected by technology. There are a lot of great and wonderful advancements, but there is also a lot of just using it unnecessarily. I do think we're a little lost without it. I mean, I can't really be in a room with a bunch of people and if someone's not talking to me, I'm gonna pull out my phone. Of course I am. And that I wish I didn't have that crutch, but I do.
Is it important to separate people into these generational categories?
I think it is and it isn't. I don't know. I mean, we're all on the same planet. I don't know if the
rigid like structure of like generations is necessarily needed.
I wouldn't say it's important, but it helps give like an identifying marker of like, okay, this is like the time period when like they grew up and like what they're used to.
But I think it definitely does make sense to categorize this generationally, because what we have to live under or what we experience isn't the same as like our grandparents and parents. Like things have changed, so it is important to kind of look at the context of how we grew up.
If you look at the difference between a millennial and a Gen Zer, I keep using this example, but I think it's so important. I think there's a very obvious difference between the two.
I don't think that it's life or death. There are some people that could care less about what generation that they're a part of.
Yes and no. Like I think it's good for like statistics, and it's just different for everyone too. Like if you're the youngest of a family and you're all millennials, like obviously there's gonna be traits of like millennials are gonna have in yourself just being raised in that household.
And I think discerning it with like a name like Gen Z or millennial, whatever it may be, isn't really making it any more distinctive, if that makes sense. And I feel like dividing it from each other with like names and things like that, it's already discernible. So I feel like names aren't necessary, but you know, they're kind of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.